Snow across Scotland, gale force winds, temperatures dropping to -15. That is what we're re-looking at. I've examined the latest models from the Met Office, ECMWF, and the GFS. And what we are seeing is a textbook example of a transitional weather pattern, the kind that meteorologists find fascinating, but which creates rather challenging conditions for everyone living through it. The Arctic air that has been dominating Scotland for the past week is about to clash with mild Atlantic air pushing in from the west, and the United Kingdom sits right in the middle of that battleground. Let me walk you through what's happening, what's coming, and what you need to prepare for. Right now, conditions across the country couldn't be more varied. The Scottish Highlands saw temperatures drop to -8 this morning, bitterly cold with a sharp easterly wind, making it feel considerably worse. That's the Arctic air mass we've been dealing with since Storm Goretti moved through. Compare that to Cornwall and Devon. Temperatures running around 10 to 11 degrees Celsius. That is about 50 to 52 Fahrenheit. Mild, damp conditions with scattered drizzle through the morning. Some areas of Somerset were under flood warnings earlier today. In Wales, it has been wet. Heavy rainfall warnings this morning across South Wales with 15 to 20 millimetres already recorded. That Atlantic moisture is pushing against the higher ground. The Midlands has been caught in between. Birmingham and surrounding areas hovering around 7 to 8 degrees. Grey skies, rather dull conditions. Not particularly cold, not particularly mild, just that in-between state that characterises these transitional patterns. And then there's the question many of you in East Anglia have been asking, where's the proper winter weather? You have gone through much of January without significant snow or genuinely cold conditions. That may be about to change. We'll get to that. Let us examine the pressure pattern driving all of this. The North Atlantic is active, very active. We've got a series of low pressure systems queuing up west of Ireland. The most significant one is currently positioned about 300 miles west of County Kerry. Central pressure 972 millibars. That is a fairly deep system. This low is trying to move eastwards. Standard behavior for Atlantic depressions at this time of year. But here where it gets interesting. To the north and northeast, we've got high pressure building over Scandinavia, currently sitting at 1,032 millibars over southern Norway. That is a strong blocking high. The result? These two systems are squeezing the isobars over the British Isles. And when isobars get squeezed together like that, you get wind. Strong wind. The Met Office model and ECMWF are in very close agreement on this. High confidence in the forecast for the next 48 hours. After that, there is some divergence on exactly where the systems track, but the overall pattern is clear. Now, I need to explain something about Atlantic depressions that's relevant here. When these low pressure systems move in from the west, they don't just bring rain, they bring a sequence of weather. First, you get the warm front. That's the leading edge of the milder air. It brings cloud, rain, and a gradual temperature rise. Behind that, you get the warm sector. This is the mildest air, often damp, sometimes foggy, but relatively benign. Then comes the cold front. This is where things get interesting. The cold front is the trailing edge of the system. It moves through more quickly than the warm front. And when it passes, temperatures drop sharply, the wind often strengthens considerably. And if there's enough moisture and the temperature drops low enough, rain turns to sleet and then snow. That sequence is exactly what we're going to see over the next 72 hours. But different parts of the country will experience it at different times and with different intensity. Let me break this down region by region, starting with London and the southeast. This afternoon has been rather pleasant by January standards. Some sunny intervals after the morning fog cleared, temperatures around 10 to 11 degrees. You've probably noticed the wind picking up. Southeasterly at the moment, 30 to 40 miles per hour with gusts reaching 50 in exposed areas. That wind is going to continue strengthening through the evening. By 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, expect gusts of 55 to 60 miles per hour. Not extreme, but enough to be noticeable. The rain arrives around the same time, and this one to be light drizzle. We're reforecasting 15 to 20 millimeters through tonight and into tomorrow morning. Heavy at times, the kind of rain that overwhelms drains and creates surface water on roads. Temperatures will hold steady overnight, still around 9 to 10 degrees at dawn tomorrow. That's unusually mild for January. Tomorrow during the day, the rain continues. Another 10 to 15 millimeters likely. Winds remaining strong. Gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. Travel will be affected. Train services may face delays due to water on the tracks. Driving conditions will be challenging with spray and surface water. But here's the critical bit. Tomorrow evening, the cold front moves through, and when it does, temperatures will drop rapidly, from 9 or 10 degrees at 6 o'clock in the evening down to 3 or 4 degrees by midnight. That is a drop of 6 or 7 degrees in just 6 hours. The rain will ease off, but you'll be left with wet roads and falling temperatures. Not quite cold enough for widespread ice in central London, but on elevated sections of motorway and in rural areas around the M25, ice is likely. The Highways Agency will be gritting, but be prepared for slippery conditions on Wednesday morning. Moving to the Midlands, conditions today have been cloudier than the south, temperatures around 8 degrees, light drizzle in places this afternoon. Tonight, the rain arrives a bit earlier than in London, around 6 or 7 o'clock, and it'll be heavy. 20 to 25 millimeters through tonight and tomorrow. That is significant rainfall. Winds will be strong, gusting to 55 to 60 miles per hour tonight, potentially reaching 65 miles per hour tomorrow. The M6 through Staffordshire and Cheshire will be particularly exposed. High-sided vehicles should reduce speed. Tomorrow will be a thoroughly wet and windy day. Not much to recommend it, frankly. Temperatures staying around 8 or 9 degrees through the day. The cold front arrives tomorrow evening. Rain turning to sleet over higher ground in Derbyshire and the Peak District. Snow possible above 300 metres. Not significant accumulation, perhaps 2 to 5 centimetres, but enough to make the A57 Snake Pass and similar routes treacherous. Wednesday morning, temperatures dropping to 1 or 2 degrees. Ice likely on untreated roads. Allow extra time for your commute. Now we move north. Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, Newcastle. You're already dealing with more challenging conditions this afternoon. Cloud, drizzle, and wind. Temperatures around 6 to 8 degrees. Tonight, the rain becomes heavy, very heavy in places. Northwest England could see 25 to 30 millimeters. That's enough to cause localized flooding, particularly in areas with poor drainage. Liverpool and the northwest coast will bear the brunt of the wind. Gusts reaching 60 to 65 miles per hour tonight, potentially 70 miles per hour tomorrow. The Irish Sea will be very rough. Ferry services may be affected. Across the Pennines, conditions will be severe. Rain, strong winds, and very poor visibility. The M62 trans-Pennine route will be challenging. Spray, surface water, and strong crosswinds. If you're re-driving across tomorrow, consider delaying if possible. Leeds and Bradford expect heavy rain tomorrow morning. 15 to 20 millimeters. Flooding possible in the usual trouble spots. Newcastle and the northeast are in a slightly different position. You'll get the rain tonight and tomorrow morning, but the cold front arrives earlier up here. By tomorrow afternoon, temperatures dropping sharply, rain turning to sleet and snow by tomorrow evening. And this is where we need to talk about what happens on Wednesday. The ECMWF model is showing a secondary low pressure system developing on the back of the main system. This secondary low tracks across the North Sea and intensifies as it does so, and it brings a northeasterly wind. Cold air from Scandinavia, northeast England is right in the firing line. Wednesday looks like a very difficult day. Heavy snow is likely. We could be looking at 10 to 15 centimeters, possibly more in places. Strong winds as well. Blizzard conditions over higher ground. Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough. Prepare for disruption on Wednesday. Travel will be significantly affected. Schools may close. The advice from me is simple. If you don't need to travel, don't. Wales is already dealing with rain today. Heavy rain. And it's going to continue. Tonight and tomorrow, Wales gets hammered. 25 to 30 millimeters of rain across South Wales. The valleys and the Brecon Beacons could see 35 to 40 millimeters. That's serious rainfall. The Environment Agency and Natural Resources Wales have issued flood warnings for several rivers. The west coast of Wales will see extremely strong winds. Gusts of 70 to 75 miles per hour tonight and tomorrow. Coastal areas should expect large waves and spray. The Severn Bridge may have restrictions for high-sided vehicles. Snowdonia will see the weather turn to snow tomorrow evening. Above 500 metres, significant accumulation is likely. 10 to 20 centimetres possible by Wednesday morning. Mountain rescue teams are already on alert. If you are planning any hill walking, don't. Conditions will be dangerous. Scotland, you are in a different situation entirely. You've already got the cold air. You've been dealing with it all week. The Scottish Highlands saw -8 this morning. Glasgow and Edinburgh around 5 to 6 degrees. Cold but manageable. Tonight and tomorrow, the rain reaches you. But because you've already got cold air in place, this isn't going to be rain for long. Across the central belt, rain tonight turning to sleet and snow by morning. Glasgow, Edinburgh, Stirling. Expect 5 to 10 centimetres of snow by tomorrow afternoon. The Highlands will see heavier snow. 15 to 25 centimetres likely. Strong winds as well. 50 to 60 miles per hour. Drifting snow will be an issue. The A9 through the Cairngorms will be treacherous. Police Scotland are advising against non-essential travel. And here's the crucial bit for Scotland. Whilst England and Wales see the cold front move through and then milder air potentially returning later in the week, Scotland doesn't. You stay cold. The high pressure over Scandinavia keeps pumping Arctic air across the North Sea towards you. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all cold. Daytime temperatures struggling to get above 2 or 3 degrees, nighttime temperatures dropping to -5 to -10, possibly lower in sheltered glens. Northern Ireland, your conditions are similar to Western Scotland and Northwest England. Heavy rain tonight and tomorrow, 20 to 25 millimetres, winds gusting to 65 to 70 miles per hour. The Irish Sea will be very rough indeed. Ferry services between Belfast and Scotland or England may be cancelled. Check with your operator. Tomorrow evening, temperatures dropping, rain turning to sleet and snow over higher ground. The Sperrins and the Morns will see snow accumulation. Wednesday will be cold and windy with further snow showers, particularly in the north and east. Now, let's talk about what this means in practical terms. Travel is going to be significantly disrupted tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. That is 3 days of challenging conditions. Rail services are already warning of potential delays and cancellations. Water on the tracks tonight and tomorrow. Snow on the tracks on Wednesday in northern areas. Fallen trees possible in the strong winds. Check your service before travelling and allow extra time. Roads will be hazardous. Tonight, heavy rain and strong winds. Surface water will be an issue. Spray will reduce visibility. Tomorrow, the same but worse. Wednesday, ice in the morning across most areas. Snow and ice in northern England and Scotland. If you are driving tonight or tomorrow, reduce your speed, keep your lights on, maintain a safe distance from the vehicle in front. Watch for sudden gusts of wind, particularly on bridges and exposed sections of motorway. Wednesday morning, check conditions before setting out. Many roads in northern England and Scotland may not be passable. The Highways Agency and Transport Scotland will grit main routes, but rural roads may not be treated. Air travel will be affected by the wind. Arrivals and departures at Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, Glasgow, and Edinburgh may face delays tomorrow. Strong crosswinds make landing challenging. Check with your airline. Arriving at the airport early is sensible. Ferry services across the Irish Sea and to the Scottish Islands will be disrupted. Large waves and strong winds will force cancellations. If you are planning to travel by ferry, assume it 1T run and make alternative arrangements. For your property, check your gutters and drains. With 20 to 30 millimetres of rain forecast, blocked drains will cause problems. If you've got any loose items in your garden, tie them down or bring them inside. 60 to 70 mile per hour winds will move anything that isn't secured. If you've got vulnerable relatives or neighbours, particularly elderly people living alone, check on them. Power cuts are possible in the strong winds. Make sure they've got torches, batteries, and a way to keep warm if the heating goes off. Health considerations are important here. The combination of high humidity, strong winds, and fluctuating temperatures affects people with respiratory conditions, asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, bronchitis. If you have any of these conditions, carry your inhaler when going out. The damp air can trigger symptoms. The rapid temperature drop tomorrow evening and Wednesday morning is a concern for people with heart conditions. Moving from a warm house to cold outdoor air causes blood vessels to constrict. This increases blood pressure. If you have heart problems, take care when going outside. Wrap up properly. Don T. Rush. For everyone else, the wind chill is significant. Yes, temperatures might be 8 or 9 degrees tomorrow, but with 60 mile per hour winds, the feels like temperature is more like 3 or 4 degrees. Wear layers. A windproof jacket is essential. Wednesday morning, with temperatures of 1 or 2 degrees and a strong northeasterly wind, the feels like temperature will be -3 to -5. That's cold enough for frostbite on exposed skin if you are outside for extended periods. Gloves, hat, scarf, not optional. Now, I want to talk about what comes after Wednesday, because there are some interesting developments that need watching. The ECMWF model is showing the high pressure over Scandinavia, strengthening and expanding westwards over the weekend. This would bring a prolonged period of cold weather to the entire United Kingdom, not just Scotland. If this happens, Saturday and Sunday could see daytime temperatures of just 2 to 4 degrees across southern England. 1 to 3 degrees across the Midlands and northern England, -1 to +2 degrees across Scotland. And with the cold air in place, any precipitation would fall as snow. Even at low levels, there's a possibility, and I stress this is not certain yet, of a more significant snow event Sunday night into Monday. The GFS model is showing a low-pressure system tracking across southern England. If that happens with cold air in place, we could be looking at widespread snow, 5 to 10 centimetres even at sea level. But this is still 5 to 6 days away. The models are not in agreement. The UKMO model has the low tracking further south, missing the UK. The ECMWF has it further north, bringing snow to a larger area. We'll update you as we get closer and the models converge, but it's something to be aware of. The pattern is shifting towards colder conditions, and once that Arctic air is in place, it tends to stick around. For those of you who remember the beast from the east in 2018, this has some similarities. High pressure over Scandinavia, easterly winds, cold air from Siberia. We're not there yet. But the potential is there. Let me compare this to some historical events because context is useful. The rain and wind tonight and tomorrow are significant, but not unprecedented. The Burns Day storm in 1990 produced gusts of over 100 miles per hour in places. We are looking at 60 to 70. Challenging, but not in that category. The snow forecast for northeast England on Wednesday could produce 10 to 15 centimetres. December 2010 saw some areas of northeast England receive 30 to 40 centimetres in a single event. So again, significant, but not record-breaking. What makes this situation notable is the rapid transition. From mild and wet to cold and snowy in less than 24 hours. That is the challenging part. People, infrastructure, and transport networks adapt well to rapid changes. And if the colder pattern does establish itself over the weekend, then we could be looking at a prolonged cold spell, a week or more of sub-zero nights and daytime temperatures barely above freezing. That S when the cumulative impact builds up. So what should you do? Tonight, if you are in western areas, Wales, northwest England, western Scotland, Northern Ireland, be prepared for heavy rain and strong winds. Make sure you've got your brolly. If you are driving home from work, take care. Tomorrow, wherever you are in the UK, it's going to be unpleasant. Heavy rain, strong winds, grey skies. If you can work from home, do so. If you have to travel, allow extra time. Check your train or bus service before leaving. Tomorrow evening, be aware that the cold front is coming through. Temperatures will drop. Roads will be wet. Ice is possible. Wednesday morning, check road conditions before setting out. Northern England and Scotland assume snow and ice. Have a scraper and de-icer for your car. Wear proper footwear for slippery pavements. Looking ahead to the weekend, keep an eye on the forecast. If the cold pattern does establish itself, you will need to prepare for more sustained winter weather. Make sure you've got salt or grit for your path and driveway. Check your heating system is working properly. Stock up on essentials so you don't have to go out if roads are bad. And here's my broader advice. This is January in Britain. The weather changes quickly. What is mild and wet today can be cold and snowy tomorrow. That S normal. It's not the end of the world. It is just winter. Don't panic, but do prepare. Have a plan for if travel is disrupted. Know where your torch and batteries are in case of power cuts. Keep an eye on vulnerable people and stay informed. We'll have updated forecasts this evening at 6:00. I'll be examining the latest model runs and giving you the most current information. If anything changes significantly, we'll let you know. The Met Office has their warnings updated regularly on their website. The Environment Agency, Natural Resources Wales, and Sepia have flood warnings. Check these sources. But in summary, tonight and tomorrow, heavy rain and strong winds affect the western half of the country. Tomorrow evening, a sharp drop in temperature. Wednesday, cold with snow in northern areas, and possibly a shift to more sustained cold weather over the weekend. You've seen this before. Many of you lived through 1963, the winter of 79, the beast from the east. You know what proper winter weather looks like. This isn't that, not yet anyway, but it does require attention, it does require preparation, and it does require common sense. Keep warm, keep dry, drive carefully, and stay in